You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we have got to talk about the emotional beating that Kyle Abbott just took and might have him chasing after his ex, Summer Newman, soon. But is his mind shift far too little and far too late for his estranged wife? Let's dig in and talk about it. But if you haven't already, please click subscribe so you don't miss a thing. So this week on Young and the Restless, Audra Charles has just had about enough. She's had it with both of her lovers, Kyle Abbott and also Tucker McCall. Kyle's been playing both sides, trying to get Audra to betray Tucker and come over to Team Abbott. And Tucker doubted Kyle from the get-go and thought Audra was just keeping him around like a hot cabana boy to warm her sheets, at least when Tucker wasn't warming them. So Audra has just had enough of this back and forth, and so she ratted Kyle out to Tucker this week. And then when Tucker confronted Kyle and mocked him, Kyle punched him right in the face. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, right? So Audra is completely done with Kyle. She told him to get out. That came after she told him that he just poked the bear by punching Tucker, and it's going to be bad for the Abbotts. So Kyle then called her Tucker's little cheerleader and says he hasn't ever clearly seen who she really is, but he does now. And Audra just gives it back to him as good as he's given it to her. This is a really juicy fight. Audra is going to tell him that the two of them are a lot alike, but he was only sticking around for good sex with her anyway. So their final breakup scene's pretty harsh, and they seem to be done and dusted, likely over for good. So where does that leave Kyle? Well, I think he might try and get close to Summer Newman again, but I think it's almost too late for that. Maybe already too late. This week, Summer gets closer to Chance and she's ready to tell him how she feels. And of course, Sharon Newman just dumped Chance. So other than the fact he was just recently jilted, there's nothing holding him back from taking a chance on Summer. I mean, they've been flirting and friendly for months now. They went to that concert, but he never crossed a line and betrayed Sharon in any way. But the groundwork has been laid, and I do wonder if the big Summer and Chance romance is about to turn into an ex-husband sandwich with Summer stuck in the middle between two slices of white bread. Remember, Summer never did want to split from their marriage. Kyle was enraged about her covering for Phyllis Summers when she was faking her death and leaving his mom to rot in jail. And if Michael hadn't miraculously won bail for Diane, she might have been in jail for quite a while longer while Summer kept her mouth shut to protect her mother over his. And Kyle did not like that at all. And he said their marriage was over, walked out the Abbott mansion door, away from his wife, hopped right into bed with Audra. So Summer was heartbroken, but had no choice because Kyle said they were done. And then a little while later, she started developing feelings for Chance. He was nice to her while her heart was breaking. And now everything is set to change. But is Kyle going to force himself into the mix with his... I don't know if they're legally divorced. I haven't heard about a divorce being finalized. I don't know if you guys have. I think they're estranged. At any rate, is Kyle going to force himself into the mix with his estranged wife and her new possible love interest? I did notice, a couple of months back, at Kyle's parents' vow renewal ceremony, that during the reception part, he complimented Summer and said she looked beautiful, and he seemed to kind of be checking her out. But then Summer was checking out Chance, and Kyle noticed that. So then he went off to find Audra, and the moment kind of dissipated. But it was interesting. And it would be a typical Kyle Abbott move to go chase down Summer and ask for another try, right, as she is embarking on something new with Chance Chancellor. I mean, we all know Kyle is spoiled and entitled, so now maybe he thinks he's entitled to just take his wife back. I don't know about this divorce. I know they started putting it in motion, so they may still be legally married, or perhaps not. It doesn't really matter unless Kyle wants to try and use that as a selling point for their reunion. It's like, hey, since we never got divorced, let's just heat this back up. I feel like Kyle is going to come sniffing around Summer, looking for another bed to warm him about the time she and Chance set their first official date. And of course, Summer loved Kyle, and she knew that he hated him lying to her about the Phyllis thing. But she is a mini Mia Phyllis, and she can't stop herself from lying and plotting. We know that. But Kyle's not so angry anymore. His mom's out of jail. The threat to her freedom is gone. Phyllis has been kind of shamed by most of Genoa City, and he doesn't seem to be holding a grudge anymore. Plus, he's had a thing for Summer for a long time, aside from when he kind of veered over to Lola Rosales. So maybe Kyle thinks he can swoop in and just scoop his wife back up. I expect him to be surprised by the fact that she is moving on with someone new, but that doesn't mean Kyle's going to back off or stop pursuing her or respect her boundaries. And we also know that Kyle can always play the guilt card, saying Harrison Luck misses you. He misses you being at the house, and we should be a family again for our son. He didn't care much about that when he tossed her out of the mansion because she sided with her lying mom. But yeah, I do expect him to pull this move. I honestly hope Summer tells him to go kick rocks, at least for a while. He hasn't learned his lesson, I don't think. He disrespected her and their marriage by hopping into bed with Audra the same day he kicked Summer out of their house, and that was some shady business. She would be a fool to take him back just because he crooked his finger. Also, since he wasn't the one to walk away from Audra, Audra dumped him trying to get back with Summer kind of makes him a serial male slut. I just hope Summer goes ahead and takes a chance on romance with Chance. And if she does decide to give another go with Kyle at some point, I hope she makes him really work for it. He shouldn't get to walk away from his bed bunny and go right back to his wife after the way he's behaved. So we'll see. What do you think? Do you want to see Kyle back with Summer ASAP, or do you think that she should tell him to take a hike and make him really work for it? Be sure to drop your comments. Click subscribe if you haven't, and definitely come back soon. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're talking Y&R here 7 days a week. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.